Have you ever heard of Pops?
Pops?
Uh-huh. Maybe we can get them to sponsor us. It's the Aldi version of Poppy. 93 cents. It tastes just like a Poppy.
Let's start. Okay.
I think we can add that in. Just add that after you say hello.
Welcome to the Supporting Chaos podcast. I'm Sammy.
Sorry I'm late.
Of course you are.
Sorry I'm late.
What's on your shirt?
Could be throw up.
I think I have a stain remover. I think this is yours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have wipes. That'll do. Oh my gosh, guess what?
Let's hit record first. Okay, welcome to the Supporting Chaos podcast. I'm Sammy.
I'm Gracie. And this is Pops.
I literally...
Pop sponsors.
Okay, so I literally almost just said like, oh, look at you. You have a puppy.
It's
That's
like
so
a new
bougie.
No, this is Pops. With the Z. 93 cents from Aldi. The Aldi version. Tastes better.
I'm
Yes,
sure.
me.
It was so funny because I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
fancy. Like I was
Poppy and
thinking that.
Olipop, we've already reached out to sponsor us and they won't, but I bet Pops will.
So I messaged, this is crazy. I messaged Poppy. Did you see this? Bro, I messaged him from our account and I said, we're fans of Olipop, but I will sell my soul if we can get a Poppy sponsorship. Literally, because my kids just drink it and it's so expensive. And so I literally told Poppy, I was like, it's a pretty
Time
crazy.
to switch to Aldi.
You need to go find it. But I was like,
finally, we can stock up our drink fridge.
it just went unread. Like they just like never even responded. But I was like, the Poppy like sweatsuits
I know.
would be so sweet. And I was like, we're an Olipop family, but I will switch for you if we can be on the PR list. And it was just crickets.
Probably starting with we're an Olipop family probably wasn't your best
I thought
move.
maybe they'd want to like switch us over. I like Poppy too. We like both. The Poppy cream soda in the blue can was the best thing they ever made. And now they like don't sell it anymore.
That's lame. I like the good Pop because they make the mini cans.
Yeah, but my kids don't like them.
They don't like the
flavor. But the Poppy does have I found mini orange cans.
Oh.
Which is perfect. Like,
yeah. Because they never drink them and they're so expensive.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Not if you shop at Aldi. It's fine.
I know. I mean, I might need to be doing that.
It's pretty good.
Everything's just so expensive these days.
I know. I remember my twin. Some people don't know I'm a twin, which I always think is like, we've talked about it a bunch, but I'm a twin. And she, before her first started eating like solids, she like said, I think you were there. She was like, how much do you like spend in groceries? And I was like $300 sometimes. Like, I try and go under $300. She's like, $300? How do you even, whoa. And then right now her little boy's such a snacker. Mm-hmm. And she goes, okay, I get it. I was like, yeah, it's so, they eat so much.
It's so expensive.
And if you want to be like even a little bit healthy, like, goodbye.
That's like one thing I feel like Mario did not understand and he likes the bougie products.
Yeah.
So like he likes the bougie like organic foods too.
Yeah.
And so I've been having him on Sundays. We've been kind of like meal prepping and ordering the groceries, and then he goes and picks it up.
That's
so that
smart.
he can
See it.
But it is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can easily spend $400.
Yeah.
It's especially if you're getting like grass-fed meat or like.
Well, and especially like if you're getting like any like household supplies too, it just adds up.
I mean, we spend a fortune in drinks, so I might be going into the pop side.
It's actually, so Aldi also has like Vibes or something like that. That's like an alternative for like sparklies. They're not good.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but this one I was like, yes, we did it.
It's
we
just
made
really
it.
funny because I was gonna make a comment. I'm like, oh, look at you with your fancy drink.
I really love the Z because I'm like, come on.
The Z.
The Z. They could have done like an E. Like,
so, Pops, I will write you a DM and say, I will sell my soul
we
for
will
you.
exclusively be Pops drinkers.
If you could make some merch too, that would be great.
Raspberry rosé.
Somebody sponsor us with some drinks. We'll use them here, but my kids drink so many of the friggin' drink fridge. Anyways, today we're going to talk about age gaps and what makes siblings close. So there's kind of two parts to this, but this is actually a DM that we get very often. I think just because we're sisters and share an account, and people, especially moms of girls, I've noticed, will message us and just say like, oh, I just really hope my girls grow up to be like y'all one day.
Like, how did you guys get so close? Like, is there like a secret?
Yeah, and people are always asking, what made us close or whatever. And so I think this will be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. We've also had this conversation like multiple times just like on the phone. And so I think we already have good points, but I think
Oh my gosh, look at this. We're like, sorry,
Wow.
ADD, I just completely interrupted you, but I'm blue
good.
and you're pink, kind of like matching pillows.
That's so cute. No, but I think like I love it when we have the conversations we've already had for the podcast, because I think we kind of already like have this like idea of what the other person says, and then I feel like every single time we've like shocked each other with like new things.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, I also think one thing that's shocking too is most people don't realize is that we're 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And that usually shocks people because they think that we're like a year apart.
Yeah. When I think like too, when you're having young, like when your kids are young, 5 years seems like a lot. And I feel like that's when people start getting worried about the age gap. It's around like that 5 year.
Yeah. And I feel like this is also, we're going to give our credentials to talk about this conversation. Not only are we close and we're sisters, but as we have the tattoo, I'm 1 out of 5. So I'm the oldest of 5. She's 3 out of 5. So I'm the oldest, and then we have Eliza, who's 2 years younger than me, and then Gracie and Tess, who are twins, who are 5 years younger. Then we have our sister cousin, Annabelle, who's number 5. So we're super close to our cousins too. And then our other cousins, who are the boys who aren't on the tat, Jake and Corey.
They don't get to be on the
So we all are very close.
Yeah.
And
like our cousins do, like, and I feel like we talk about them a lot, but we've never really like said our cousins, we're close.
we're like siblings.
Yeah, like we're closer to our cousins than a lot of people are with their siblings. I feel
like we spend Christmas with them. I mean, the births of both my babies, like all 3 of my cousins have been there. And a lot of that is because like our aunt and uncle are sort of like parents to us too. Mm-hmm. So like we spend Christmas all together, like you would with your siblings.
Yeah.
So I feel like we do have some credentials on this topic.
We got this. It's a good one.
So we'll do both. I think we'll start out and we're going to talk about just the obsession kind of with age gaps. And then we can talk about some of the things that we think actually have made us close with each other and the rest of our large ass crew. And then maybe some things that we want to implement with our kids that we're working on to hopefully like foster that.
I love it.
Okay, so the first thing is this age gap obsession. And I feel like 2 under 2 is like this like trending thing on social media.
It has been.
Like it seems like moms,
especially for your first 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it seems like in the motherhood space, someone becomes a mom, and not always, of course. Like that's the biggest thing. I'm going to start here actually. There's no right or wrong way to have your family.
Yeah.
There's and we'll talk so much more about that.
And I'm sure there's people screaming that at 2 under 2 that was like, I didn't do it for a trend. And we know that.
Sometimes it happens, and you might have been in it, whether you're someone who's like, I just want to get these years over with, boom, 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 or whether you're someone who is like, I'm in survival mode. I don't want to just continue to be. There's no right or wrong, but I do think that this is like kind of a trend that someone becomes a mom and then they want to be like a pro mom on social media. So then you have to like do 2 under 2 to like.
I do think there's something with it being this trend. I also think like there is this like thing of motherhood though, when you have that first one, it's like, and you want more kids, and it's like you're like, okay, it's time. Like now I'm going to be like a professional mom and have this other one. The other thing though with that is normally you have 2 under 2, you're getting pregnant before the baby's a toddler, and that's when it rocks your world.
Yeah.
So my younger 2 were 2 under 2, and it rocked my world.
But I feel like there's also like even before the trend, which I'm kind of joking about, but I do think that I think I did that too of like, oh, I want them to be close in age. Mm-hmm. And like this obsession that if your kids are close in age, they're going to be close. Yeah. And I unfortunately just think that is false. Mm-hmm. And it's not one of the main factors that makes you close.
No.
But I do think that there's this pressure on moms to have their kids like close in age.
Yeah. I also feel like there is this like pressure of, and I think I'm seeing it a lot from the outside because I had my first kind of young, but I also just think this is just this like timeline thing with motherhood. And it's like this like how old you are. Like it's just so, and I think if we've learned anything in the last few years is you don't get to pick your timeline.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that way.
Well, I even have moments now where, so I should be having a 1-year-old right now this week if we're going to talk about it, or a newborn. Whereas now I'm like, okay, now we're going till my oldest is almost 7. So now I still have I'm not even pregnant yet. So now there's going to be like 8 years and 6 years. And that voice is in my head.
Yeah.
Even like knowing what I know there is. And I think so much of it, like you're saying too, is you dream about being a mom.
Yeah.
And you have this idea.
And you think your
head.
timeline's like, yeah, you have this like timeline in your head.
Yeah. And I think that would be my one piece of advice. And I'm telling this to myself too, as I'm giving advice, is like at the end of the day, the age gap doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it is hard because there is something that makes you feel like, oh, you want them to be so close.
Yeah. When I had my 2 under 2, I remember my doctor saying, like, I feel like one thing that's like 2 under 2 is very glorified, I think, too, on like social media. There is a huge thing about it being really hard on your body. Like, I really blacked out.
Yeah.
Like, I there's moments where I like, there's like months that I cannot tell you what like, because I was just in this fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And within that, there's so many hormones of like, I mean, I'm speaking to the hormone queen right now, but like there's so many hormones that like are not, like your organs aren't even back before you have the other baby. And so I do think if you're feeling this pressure of having those 2 under 2, I think the biggest question before you decide to do that is, where are you mentally? Can you mentally and physically handle this?
Yeah.
Because if you can't be there mentally, if you think at any point that this is going to mentally like affect or like struggle, or you're going to have a struggle mentally if you have this other baby, then it is so worth it to wait.
I think that's like such good advice. And I think that's something that people don't talk about because it's not, obviously nobody regrets anything because your children wouldn't be here if you regret.
Yeah, I mean, I love my girls.
But if you could have everything the exact same and add an extra year in between, you know, like.
If I could go back and add an extra year, 100%
Which
would.
obviously you never would because now we have your
I'm
third
obsessed
who is
with
like
her.
perfect and amazing. But I just think that that's something that people should talk about more. And not just like,
and I
always
do think it's
glorify.
going to be cool that they're going to be a grade apart and like stuff like that. But I think within that, was the age gap worth the mental health struggle? No.
Yeah.
And I think like with glorifying 2 under 2, I also think when I got pregnant, my second was a baby.
Yeah.
And so when they're hitting that peak toddlerhood right as you're 9 months pregnant, it is hard. And I don't want to scare anybody that's like pregnant with their second right now, but there is like, just make sure you have your help lined up. And don't glorify the 2 under 2 because there is a lot of hard things with it. Mm-hmm. Whereas I felt like when I had my second with that 3 and how far apart are they?
Mine are exactly like 2. So yours are probably like 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the 2.5 age gap, I felt like my oldest was a little, at least mature enough to like understand some things. Whereas like when you have a 15-month-old with a baby, they do not get it.
Yeah.
Like, they do not understand why mommy has to like feed the baby right now. They don't understand anything. And so it's really hard to like get through that initial phase.
Yeah.
Because you have a baby and a baby, basically.
And I think that is just, it's really important for people to sort of know that. And if you're struggling right now, just to like know that you're not alone in that, I think is really important. I mean, this sounds so bad, and I know I've said it to you before, but I knew I wasn't ready for a third because our first are 3 months apart and our second are like 2 weeks apart. And then when she had the third, I remember being like, I can't do that. And now, of course, I look back and I'm like, God, I wish I would have started earlier, which there's always that voice in your head, right? Yeah. Because now we're here. But I remember I wasn't in survival mode, I think, with my 2, and they're 2 years apart. But I will say, I think your oldest, she's a girl. Duh. So she was more mature. Mm-hmm. Whereas like my son turned 2 and the baby was there like within weeks. And I still felt that way with him. Like I couldn't, I mean, I would be nursing and he would just go like touch the fireplace, like then look at me.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Are you going to choose punish me or the baby?
And I really love their age gap right now. They're almost 5 and almost 7 and they play so well together, which I think we'll talk about. But I do think so much of it is just like they connect. They're just friends. They have the same things in common. They play the same games and that's just luck.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, I really like the age gap between my oldest and my youngest. It's like a little over 3.5 years, like almost 4 years. But they both also have very similar personalities. Yeah. But I do think that age gap is like a good age gap because like when I had her, she like my oldest was mature enough and there's like certain things that she's like, she still views my youngest as such like a baby still. And so she's like, oh, she doesn't understand. Yeah. Which like, she's never said that about my middle child. Yeah. But I also think there is something in there like with that same thing is they are very similar people. Yeah. And so their relationship, I do think has a lot to do with that as well. Yeah. I think that's like the main thing that we'll probably talk about here shortly. We just did a spoiler. Spoiler. I think, so that's another thing is obviously now I'm about to have a bigger age gap. Maybe 7 years, we'll say 7 to 8 years. But I'm also really excited for it because my oldest it's so funny because he's the boy, but he just, where you think like the girls always love babies. I don't know a kid who loves babies more than him. Yeah, he loves babies. He loves babies and he is so excited, which has obviously been hard with the losses because he's so excited. And it's going to be so cool because he's going to have memories. Yeah. You know? And I think there's a huge perk to it. Like, I'm not in survival mode. I mean, my kids wake up and make themselves breakfast on the weekends if I want to sleep in. Well, and I think there's something to that, too, of like, you know, when you had Cooper, you probably couldn't soak in the baby as much because you had a 2-year-old, which, like, they're pretty independent. So you're going to have that, like, ability to, like, soak it in. That's exactly how I feel. I don't feel like I was, like, in survival mode necessarily when I mean, you're always in survival mode a little bit, but I wasn't, I guess, in disassociating mode. Like, I don't even know that. I can't tell you what I was like because I don't know. But you also had 3, so I only had 2. So I felt it was weird because it was COVID-y time. So, like, my husband was home more too, which I think was obviously helpful. Mm-hmm. But I felt just like, okay, I have to put the baby down and then give my oldest his attention because he needed that attention. And I didn't just I had a just turned 2-year-old and that 2-year-old phase rocked me. Yeah. And it just felt like I was so worried about his behavior. Like my 2-year-old and my baby was just a really chill, easy baby, thank God. And so I could just put him in his crib and take a nap. But I look back and I wish I could have snuggled him more. Yeah. You know? Whereas now my kids will be in school. Yeah. And I can snuggle. So I think that there's just, again, there's no right or wrong age gap in my. I also think, I just want to say this too. So our cousins the youngest and the oldest are 10 years apart. A boy and a girl, 10 years apart. So close. Yeah. Sammy is 10 years apart from that same girl who basically is our sibling. Like, yeah, so Annabelle is 10 years younger than me. And we just went to like the Kendrick Lamar concert together. We've gone to Spain together. Mm-hmm. We've done so much in Chicago. Went to like Lollapalooza. We've done so much together. Yeah. And we are very, very close. And we're 10 years apart. Yeah. And honestly, there are some perks to 10 years apart. Yeah. Because when Gracie comes over, let's say, she's got her 3 kids she's watching and handling. Whereas when Annabelle comes over, I'm like, our first viral video that everyone has copied went super viral because it's that sound like, do you want to help? And I'm like, no. And she's so hands-on because she has the energy. She wants to do that. Our kids just absolutely love her. I think she walks on what? Lennon my youngest will literally choose her over. We were just in Michigan and like she got a boo-boo and like wanted Annabelle. And I was like, kind of butthurt. But I was like, okay, go to Boo. But there is kind of there's such a coolness in being in the same phase of life together, obviously. But there's also such a cool thing about being in different phases of life. Like
when Annabelle got her first big girl internship in Wisconsin, I went up there, took her to Target, helped her decorate her apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I had the money to do that.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, there is some cool things about being in different phases of life. And I think about by the time that she has kids, they're going to have so many, our kids can babysit.
There's so many babysitters. And you know what? I also do give our aunt a lot of props because she purposely had her kids 5 years apart because she knew that she couldn't handle it if she didn't.
Yeah.
And so like, I think that like going into the like mental space of like being able to like recognize that I cannot handle another one for 5 more years until the other one's in school. Like, and she's like one of like the best moms I know.
She had
like
3 kids, each 5 years apart. Yeah. So 5 year, 8. So
all
5
of them
years
are close.
Yeah.
We're close with all of them. It's like,
that's so
her
true.
house is like the house everyone goes to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants to, like, there's so many times you're like, you walk in and you see like 5 friends from high school and like her son's not even there. And you're like, hey guys, what do you do? Like, it's such a good community. Everyone's close and they're all 5 years apart.
Yeah. Annabelle's friend, Ellie, shout out to Ellie, helped us with all of our branding, our packaging for Glimmers. She helped us with our podcast, like, cover photo.
Yeah.
She does everything.
She's
and it
the
is such a cool, like, and I think there is actually, I'm a huge believer in being friends with, I feel like there's this thing where you're supposed to, I'm wiser and I'm older. I love, especially for Gen Zers, and maybe it's our job too, like, there's so much you can learn from younger people too.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you have to only learn from someone who's older than you. And like, I really enjoy being around people that are younger than me. And I think it helps me keep like a young energy too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, my aunt and I always talk about that because she's like my best friend too, speaking of big age gaps.
Yeah.
And she is best friends with a lot of us who are younger.
Yeah.
And she's so young feeling for her age. And I think that's a big part of it is like she is around young people.
Yeah. I also think too, there's something with like when you're having the kids, like right now, like 7 years sounds like so long.
Yeah.
But then when you look at it as like you
we're
know,
5 years.
28 and 35 took me way too long. Like that doesn't seem crazy. Like that's like a normal friendship.
Yeah. And I think about this a little bit because my second, who will eventually be a middle, I do think hopefully it's helped with some of the like middle child stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Because he feels so much like he's my baby right now.
Yeah.
And he's had so much time being the baby.
time.
And I don't know. Maybe that's just hopeful thinking.
No, I get it. Also, he's just such a middle child, though.
He is.
He's the most middle child person ever.
I wish, he is so funny. And we try not to talk too much about our kids because, but I think he's going to be like a dirty comedian one day. Like, I want to say just a comedian, but like most funny comedians are like kind of like inappropriate, right? Like he is
very sarcastic
and like dry, which like just a lot of like toddlers don't have that ability to like do. Like most kids are like poo funny, whereas he is like, he's so funny. So we've touched on this briefly, but now we're so organized today. We're going to go into part 2, which is like, what do we think in our experience makes siblings close?
Okay, so I read the outline. So I have some ideas in my head. But I do think there is our family, even before everything went shit, has always had this sense of family. Like family backs you up. Family's there for you. Like even like I think even like our extended family that's not like actual family, like shout out Susan Hill. At any phase of my life, if something went horribly, I feel like I could call her and she would be there in a heartbeat. Because there's this like sense of family. And I think it stemmed from like our mom. And I think all 4 of us girls have that.
Yeah.
So this is really cute. We're at the pool on Saturday with Noah, which is our sister Eliza's daughter. And she's 3 and very obsessed with Harley, right? My oldest right now. She's like 7. She's cool. Like she just follows her wherever she's going. And she goes, hey, Harley, are we best friends? And Harley goes, well, we're cousins, so we'll always be best friends. And I just start crying.
Yeah.
But it's like they already I feel like our kids already have this sense of like family is there for you. Family is important. And so I think there's obviously a lot of other factors that tie into it, but there is this like sense of like your family's always there for you that we have that I think definitely had to like foster that relationship.
Totally. I think mommy did a really good job. I mean, she drove us like it was like 20 hours from Charleston up to the very top of Michigan. She drove us by herself most of the time for a month in the summer to go be with our cousins and our grandparents, and like 2 weeks in for Christmas time, like every single year. Like that is such a grind to make sure that you're like instilling like those values.
Yeah. And I think too, like showing her relationship with Shannon, showing her relationship with Susan, and like kind of like setting this example that these people are very important in my life, like is that whole like family's got you mentality.
And so I think, and I 100% agree with that. And I think this is the hard part, the good part and the hard part is I don't think you can make your kids close.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. But if there's one thing that I think you can do to hopefully help like encourage their relationship, that would be it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is obviously, you know, being close with your sisters. But I don't think if you're like, well, shit, I don't have a good relationship with these people in my family because they're toxic, I don't think you're screwed. Because like what you just said is, so Susan is not our biological aunt, but she is family. Yeah. She's going to love it. She's going to get more shout outs. We love Susan. She's like an aunt to us. Like Gracie said, we could call her. And I think if you're like, okay, I want to have these values for my kids, but I don't have the family, then look for those friends and like those people.
Our best friends, like I feel like, you know, my best friend is going to be in my kid's life their whole life. Yeah. Harper is going to be in your kid's life their whole life. Yeah. Like, and they're not actually sisters, you know?
And I think kind of focusing there is a really great way, but you do have to, you know, walk the walk. And, you know, there's difference. Like if you have a toxic in-law, then set your boundaries with them, you know? Don't force it early,
trust me.
Don't do it. But I have amazing in-laws, and like I do think about it in a way of like, I want my kids to see that we go over there every Sunday night dinner, and how I treat them is also like really important. And I think the same thing with they see that I treat my nieces like my own kids, you know? And like,
well, and I feel like a lot of times too, I like talk to my like girls about that. Like my oldest is always like, oh, she's just so annoying. And I was like, I know. Like, I felt like my sisters were annoying too, but now they're my best friends. Like, you just have to learn how to problem solve to get through it, because they will always be there for you. And like, but like, I think like showing that example too. Like, I feel like she's like when my phone rings, she's like knows it's probably one of my sisters.
That's a good point. I actually had this conversation with my therapist like a while ago. She was asking like, what was my why for wanting more kids? I think I told you this, and she was like, does it stem from because. And we'll talk about this too, because I also focus. Is it because that you and your sisters had each other's back so much, like when your mom died? Is that one of the reasons that you want to have more kids? Like if something happens to you, and I thought about it and I said, no, it's not. Like, and I know that. And I said, because if something happened to me, they would also have, I'm gonna cry. They'd also have Gracie's daughters, Eliza's daughters, Tessa's. They would also have their cousins, and I felt that to my core, because I think that, and this is the thing I don't recommend, of one of the reasons that I think we're so close is because we've been through so much trauma.
Yeah.
We're trauma bonded.
Yes.
Don't recommend that course of action.
Yes.
But
don't traumatize your kids to make them closer, please.
Yes. But I do think that there is, I mean, when our mom died, we had to look out for each other in a lot of ways. And our cousins were also there for us in so many ways. And so don't recommend trauma bond, but
I do think it was a step in how close we all are. But I also like to think, though, that we would be really close regardless.
Yeah.
I also think like personalities are a big thing, and we're a very weird bunch, us 5 too, if we include Annabelle, because I think all of us, if we were out in the public and met each other, we would still be friends. Like we could pick each other to be friends, which a lot of times is not the situation with siblings. Yeah. And so I do think we did get really lucky in that aspect, because if you have kids that are very different, they might not be best friends.
I think that's a huge difference in between just being siblings or sisters, and I didn't say just, but I mean, you can have a sister or brother who you love with your whole heart and you are so close to them. But there is a difference in having both that and being best friends.
Yeah.
And being similar. And I think, again, that's just one of those kind of luck things.
Yeah, I do think it was just luck.
But I think, like Gracie and I, for example, even though we're 5 years apart, we've always been pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that...
And then we went through the same, like, time period, too, at the same time. Like,
yeah.
Our lives were always very different until we had babies, like, the same time. And then I think, like, we became even closer. And I think that also has to do with the walk of life that we had.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's so many factors to it.
There's so many factors, but I do think, like, if they're just best friends, too, then they're just best friends. But I hope that takes it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Hopefully it takes pressure off you as the mom in a way, because really I don't think there's anything that you can do except for, like you said, trying to instill like those type of like family values.
And I also think too, like, I mean, once again, you can't control it, but if there is anything you can do, like, I do think like trying to like really make sure there's no pinning siblings against each other and making them understand how good their relationship is too. Because, okay, so recently my friend actually told me to try this and I was like, okay, I like my girls squabble. They squabble a lot. And recently I've just like, when they come to tell me, I'm like, thanks for telling me, go figure it out.
Yeah.
Like go to somebody's room and figure it out. And at first they were like, because I was inserting myself so much and like helping them figure out this problem. And, you know, my 4 and 3-year-old come out of the room. They're like, we decided not to hit each other anymore. I'm like, great. good problem solving, guys. But it's really interesting because the more I've done that, the more that they're like, hey, like the other day I heard my middle go, come on, we can get through this. What do you think we should? And I was like, hey, are they going to be able to problem solve situations as sisters? Like, that is really cool.
I think you need to set the stage, though, for your 4 and 3-year-old. They're both, like, the cutest. They're the same size, which is so freaking exactly cute.
The same size.
Like, these, like, blonde, like, little cute toe
They
heads.
look like they're twins.
They look like they're twins, so it's even funnier because those are the two that definitely fight the most.
Oh, my gosh. They fight so... You want to talk about 202?
But like
they'll squabble.
I will say that's the funny thing is like obviously boys are so loud in my experience. My boys, I guess I'll say, my boys are so loud, and they will wrestle and whatever. But like I'll see these girls just like smack the shit out of each other,
and it's like over. It's like so dramatic.
We did that too.
Yeah. But yes,
but it is just so cute to see them together. I think
they're
so
little
funny.
nuts.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good. So I guess as we can kind of talk about the things that we're trying to do. And again, I think release control of making it your responsibility is super important because you cannot control it. But what are the things that you can do? Because I think the pitting siblings against each other, so many things. But one thing something that I've been doing recently that I think has been really helpful too, I saw it, of course, on Instagram. I didn't make this up. I don't know who to tag, but it was saying instead of like, you're always doing like these competitions and like trying to get to the car. So every morning we race to the car, but it's me versus them.
Yeah.
So doing the adults versus the kids versus like, because you don't realize it, but you're constantly putting them into like this battle of like.
Who can do what first.
Who can do what first. And so that's been a tip that I've been using and I think works.
Yeah.
Because the young girl always loses.
Yeah.
You know?
It's never. I actually saw that the other day too. It was saying, don't stop choosing the oldest. And it was like, what? And it was like, stop choosing the oldest for a task. Choose the youngest possible who's capable. So if I'm like, can you go get the mail? I would kind of like ask my oldest to go do that because she's the oldest. But if my 3-year-old's capable of going to get the mail, I should ask the 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting concept too. The other thing too, and I do think this is a side effect of having one of my daughters has a disability. And I think it's really shown my kids how to like encourage each other, like, and like root for each other's success. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of squabbles where they like instigate the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But when one of them does something, they have like this like genuine excitement for the other person. And I do think we learned that from my middle child's like journey, because they just watched us all like be so proud of her for each milestone. And so I think that is one cool parenting thing that I didn't mean to do that I did. That's like, I think that's going to carry on in their future, because they already have that in their brain that like when something successful happens, my sisters are there to support me on. Which I think is really cool.
That's super cool. I think that's like also one of the biggest things too, is we can try to like parent them or teach them, but when do they learn the most is by watching us and watching, like you're saying, is you are encouraging and celebrating this, and so they want to do it too.
Yeah.
And now like that's the hardest part about parenting, is there's no script. It's you have to walk the walk of the things.
Yeah.
And again, like that's communication.
Yeah.
You want them to communicate, you got to teach them how to communicate.
Yeah.
That means you have to communicate with them. Yeah. So it's actually very simple and very hard at the same time.
It's very hard. It's very simple, but like extremely hard.
But I swear that's the number one thing I will, like my ride or die thing that I believe is parenting is simple. It's whatever you want them to be, whatever you want them to do, is you have to show it to them.
Yeah.
But that's also really fucking hard.
Yeah. But I think too, like with what I was saying about like the sense of family, I think because our mom showed us that.
She showed it and she lived it.
Yeah. And then
I mean,
we're showing our
4 kids, 5 years, and a 20-hour road trip without fucking, I don't know why I always curse so much here, without iPads, like with maps and printed out MapQuest.
Mm-hmm.
Like she never had a cell phone.
I did learn though this summer that she would just Benadryl us up and go through the night.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why
labor.
She would leave. So, I mean, she would do it all in one trip,
so
because stopping at a hotel would be insane all by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
But I think the takeaway from this is like, you can't control it, and you can't even control if you have 2 under 2 if they're going to be close. Like, there's no way of knowing if they're going to be close or not. And I like want to just go back on this, like, have the next baby. I mean, not that you can control it, but have your next baby when you are mentally good to have it. Like, fuck the timeline. Like, just, you can't control it anyways. So just like, somehow if you can, drop that pressure of like, you gotta hurry, and just like enjoy your babies while you have them.
Like, comparison is a thief of joy. Just because so-and-so's having 2 under 2, so-and-so might have a better system of childcare, and I don't know. And also I think it's interesting because in the last episode we talked about being in our 30s, and one thing that I have noticed is my friends who are having their babies later do seem to not be as quite in survival mode as I think we were, which is really interesting because it
makes sense.
They have more
ducks in a row.
Yeah, they have more like ducks in a row. But yeah, okay. So I feel like that is the point, is sibling closeness is not math.
No.
And I hope that makes you feel better or scares you. I don't know.
Whether they're 10 years apart, 2 years apart.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Good luck.
Yeah, best of luck to you.